When Bill Kelso unearthed his first skeleton at Jamestown, he might have expected to find an arrowhead. What he found instead was much more puzzling. And it reveals in chilling detail just how dangerous the colony had become. The skeleton was tagged with the initials of the project name, Jamestown Rediscovery, or JR-102C.
And as we got down towards the foot, a musket ball appears embedded in his leg. It was also obvious that the leg was completely turned 180 degrees around, and so it was blown off. And that had to be the cause of death, because it would have severed his artery, and I would have died within minutes.
How could a colonist have fallen to musket fire? Their greatest threat, the Indians, didn't have guns. But it's possible they could have stolen one to attack their enemy. But what about the Spaniards? The men were still wary of a Spanish surprise attack. Could a Spaniard have made his way to Jamestown? More likely, an argument between colonists turned deadly. Or is it possible that JR shot himself? Kelso looks to the skeleton for clues.
One thing that was so unusual about this is not only there is the main musket ball, but there was 21 other small shot that spread over a 5-inch pattern. So that's a lot of forensic information.
Ballistics tests reveal that to create a similar shot pattern, a musket would have had to be 15 feet away from JR. So he couldn't have shot himself.
So somebody shot JR.
It could have happened this way. A moonlit night. 2 men in the woods. Maybe someone got lost. Or heard the cry of an animal. Or the snapping of a twig. In a world where every sound was new and strange, anything could happen. It's a likely possibility. But then the bones themselves suggested a new scenario. One that speaks to just how desperate the colony's situation had become.
As archaeology tends to do, you find something, it raises a question, and then you have a whole different perspective. It was clear that the bullet actually entered from the right side of his leg and came completely through.
With the Indians on the warpath, the colonists would have begun a frenzy of drilling.
Make ready.
Many are gentlemen, not soldiers. They've come to the ultimate frontier, but they're not used to firing muskets. And these guns have a feature that makes them especially dangerous. A lit fuse dangles precariously from each gun. It's not supposed to touch the gunpowder until the trigger is pulled. But all it would take is a tiny spark. And a rookie soldier in a moment of carelessness.
And if fire.
The lead ball ripped into the side of JR's right knee, fracturing the bone. Small shots scattered for 5 inches in his leg as the ball lodged on the inside of the knee. Most likely, it severed an artery, and JR bled to death in minutes.
But it just points out to me yet another danger at Jamestown. I mean, these guys they were walking around like walking bombs, because they had these powder things across them, and the guns were very unreliable, and there's always a match going in the mechanism to fire them. This particular burial symbolizes a lot about the risks of going to Jamestown.